Hello, my name is METİN. This is 199th part of explanation of my theory. According to my theory and my formulas, superluminal redshift Z at 18.29 between motionless galaxies. In fact, there is no redshift. There is no expanding universe. Okay. 1. All continuous spectra graphs are, whether they come from atom sources, X-rays, graphs, etc., or galactic stellar sources, they generated by successive waves of moving free electron motion forms in motion. Okay. 2. All characteristic lines, emission lines, like what? This is continuous spectrum. This is hydrogen atoms Balmer's series. One of this series line is 410 nanometer. This is line, characteristic line. Okay. Continuous spectrum. They are coming from different type lights. I advise you to watching my former videos step by step. All characteristic lines, emission lines, are generated by proton-bound electron motion forms as single wave pulse. 3. When successive waves of free electron motion form and single wave pulse of proton-bound electron motion form coincide at the same wavelength. Here, at this point, continuous spectrum's wavelength is 410 nanometer and characteristic line's wavelength is 410 nanometers. Same. Coincidence. When they coincidence, when successive waves of free electron motion forms and single wave pulse of proton-bound electron motion form coincide at the same wavelength. This coincidence reflected by continuous spectrum as a spike, like this, spike, okay? This is wavelength. This is intensity. When they coincidence, intensity increase instantly. Then we see spike. Okay. Emission line. This coincidence reflected by continuous spectrum as a spike, intensity increasing at coinciding wavelength. 4. If a continuous spectrum doesn't involve a specific characteristic emission spark, this means continuous spectrum minimum, maximum, okay? This means continuous spectrum minimum maximum band is not enough to involve, is not sufficient to involve that would contain this characteristic specific line wavelength. for instance, here this is 410 nanometer, but here say 300. No, 500, say 500. Okay. Maximum, minimum. It doesn't contain, this band doesn't contain 409. Because of this, we cannot see a spike here. Okay. When this electron motion form this electron motion form has convenient velocity, yes, say 390 nanometer, okay. Now it involves, they can coincide with, if they interact with free electron motion form and proton-bound electron motion form interact, and then if there is 410 nanometer wavelength size proton-bound single wave pulse, they coincide at this wavelength. And here a spike occurs at 410 nanometer. Okay. All snapshot. Yes, I will explain now. All continuous spectra belong to specific wavelength size kind group free electron motion form. There are many kinds of free electron motion forms spectra. This kind free electron motion forms wavelength size is here 10,000 nanometer. This graph's electron motion forms wavelength size is 7,500 nanometer, and this is the graph. Okay. Here lambda normal is equal to 5,000 nanometer. 5,000 nanometer wavelength size electron motion form. In that galaxy, in that star, this galaxy and star, in spite of they are not moving, they contain countless free electron motion forms and countless proton-bound electron motion forms. In there, countless free electron motion forms in motion at specific velocities that make occur these graphs. Their successive waves, variable, source dependent, remember from my former videos. Yes, because of accepted physics theories don't know this, don't discern this, they mix oranges and apples and etc. Yes. 6. If they are convenient to contain, if they have minimum maximum band as large as the specific emission line could be involved, continuous spectra can show to us the emission line as spikes. By the way, for being capable of this, free electron motion forms must have sufficient enough velocity. 8. Each specific wavelength size kind free electron motion forms spectrum's minimum maximum band has different scale. Because of this, when unconsciously comparing different scale spectra, same wavelength characteristic emission line seems to accepted physics theories as if it was in different point. In fact, no. Anchor, no wavelength shift, nothing shift. There is no enlarging or narrowing wavelength or wave, okay, in this graphs, okay. Now, this is wrong and no wave is redshifted. Now I will show you how redshift Z can be at 18.29 between motionless galaxies, say between this star, our star, and this star, like this. Here, I advise you notice, okay? Now, we will compare these two graphs. Its starting point 10,000 nanometer, its starting point 7,500 nanometer, lambda normal. This is here, okay. Visible band, okay. You see visible band, and in that visible band, 410 nanometer, one of Balmer series line, 410 nanometer. Here 410 nanometer. Here visible light band, 410 nanometer. No shift, no change. No red shift, no type light. This is illusion of accepted physics. Expanding universe is illusion of accepted physics. Okay, nothing is not expanding. Yes. Galaxies, in these conditions, in this context, galaxies don't move away from each other in this context. We compare, okay, 7,500 minus 410 is equal to 7,009, okay. Then, where is the point? 10,000 minus 7,090 is equal to 2,910 here. Okay. Then, if we compare like accepted physics, we assume that wrongly we assume that, okay, this wavelength shifted to here, to what? To 2,910. From 410 nanometer to 2,910 nanometer, it redshifted. Wrong thinking. Okay, then 2,910 minus original wavelength, they say, 410, divided by 410 is equal to 6.097 Z. Okay, superluminal. But in fact, the two objects, A star and B star, and A galaxy and B galaxy, relatively motionless. Okay, don't move away from each other. But we saw that computation here, Z is equal to 600,097, wrongly. By the way, I have computed according to my theory and my formulas. A star free electron motion forms velocities to 287,700 km per second. B star smaller than 283,599 km per second. But they don't exceed speed of light. Yes, of course, electron motion form can exceed speed of light according to my theory and my formula. But that time we cannot see these continuous spectrums. From now on, when electron motion form exceeds the speed of light, from that time, that moment, it is neutrino, massless neutrino. Yes, different subject that I told you before. I have told you before. Now, I will compare this and this. Okay. C and A star between, say, 5,000 minus 410. Okay, 5,000 minus 410. Here. Come on. What? 4,590. This point. Okay. What is difference between 5,450 minus 410 is equal to, yes, divided by accepted physics wrong formula, Z is equal to 12.195. Yes. Remember Hubble's law, wrong law. Hubble's law is wrong. As the distance between galaxies, Z increases, they say, Hubble says, accepted physics says, wrongly. Now, we will compare this one and this one. Same. Here, our sun to A star, D star is our sun. Lambda normal is equal to 2,500 nanometer. Then 2,500 minus 410 is equal to 2090. This point. I'm so sorry. This point. Former always this point. If two graphs comparing this point. Here comparing this point and this point, I'm so sorry, and this point and this point, okay? Not this point and this point, or this point and this point now, okay? You see, I guess. And 10,000 minus 2090 is equal to 7,910 minus 410 divided by 410 is equal to Z is equal to